In a poignant series of events, a man encountered a severe medical crisis that necessitated his swift transport to the hospital. Astonishingly, his devoted canine companion trailed the ambulance unwaveringly, steadfastly journeying to and from the medical facility each day. The unfolding tale left everyone incredulous, unable to fathom the extraordinary events that ensued. Cemal Senturk had always been an active man. Living in the northern Turkish city of Trabzon, he had had a healthy and fast-paced life. During his school years, Cemal enthusiastically engaged in various activities, sprinting, participating in a multitude of sports, and even assuming the role of captain for several teams. As Cemal transitioned into adulthood, his vibrant spirit persisted, leading him to embrace cycling and rowing in addition to his disciplined morning jog. Energetic by nature, Cemal's vitality remained unyielding well into his late 60s. Regrettably, Cemal began to experience the weariness and physical limitations that come with aging. While his spirit remained eager, his body could no longer keep pace with his aspirations. He found himself unable to partake in the vigorous sports he once enjoyed, lacking the endurance and strength required for running. Despite his unwavering mental resolve, Cemal had to confront the reality of his body's diminishing capabilities. He still wanted to keep as active and healthy as possible, though. So, one day he decided to get a dog to join him on his long walks. Heading to the local animal shelter, it wasn't long until he picked out the perfect dog for himself. It was a small dog, but it seemed very active. Most people Cemal's age would have avoided such an energetic dog, but it was the perfect one for him. He took the dog home and named her Boncuk. Over the next few months, the two of them bonded and became as close as if they had known each other for many, many years. The two went on long walks and enjoyed the sights and sounds that Trabzon had to offer. It also gave Cemal someone to talk to. He had never married or had children, so he had lived quite a lonely life. Not that he minded, he enjoyed his own space, and he was a very independent person. Still, it was nice for Cemal to have Boncuk around to talk to. Unfortunately, one day Cemal was feeling a little under the weather. He woke up with quite a bad headache and his body was aching all over. At first, he thought he was suffering from a mild cold and took some tablets to help ease the symptoms. He didn't want to fall out of his normal daily routine, so he put Boncuk on a lead and set off out for his normal walk, shaking and shivering as he went. He hoped that the medication he just took would ease his pain a little as time went on, but what Cemal didn't know was that his symptoms were just a precursor to a larger and more serious problem. After several hours, Cemal arrived home feeling far worse than when he had set off out. He climbed back into his bed and wondered if sleep would help, though he couldn't get comfortable enough to drift off. One minute he was too hot, the next he was too cold. All the while, every inch of his body was racked with crippling pain. Cemal was a strong and independent man, but he knew when he was beat, and he reached for his phone to call for an ambulance. Boncuk watched on, understanding that there was something wrong with her beloved master and softly whining all the while. The paramedics arrived at Cemal's home and let themselves in. Checking his vital signs and running some diagnostic tests, it very quickly became evident that he needed to be rushed to the nearby hospital. They rushed him out of the house on a gurney and placed him in the back of the ambulance. All the while, Boncuk followed them all the way from Cemal's bedroom all the way to the ambulance. The paramedics assumed that the dog would go back through the dog door and into the house once they left, but they were wrong. They had very clearly never met a dog as dedicated and faithful as Boncuk. Boncuk was a fast dog, and because of the long walk that had been on that day with Cemal, it was limbed up and ready to go. So as soon as the ambulance set off, Boncuk began to chase after it. It kept pace for most of the way, and when the ambulance did pull ahead a little, Boncuk would always catch up. When traffic forced the emergency vehicle to slow down, eventually, though the ambulance arrived at the hospital, the paramedics opened the back of the vehicle and they were shocked to see that the dog was there waiting for them, panting heavily, but looking just as curiously at them. They had no time to hang around and try to figure out how and why the dog was there. They needed to rush Cemal inside. Boncuk followed them from the door of the ambulance all the way to the door of the hospital. However, one of the medical staff members told the dog to wait outside and Boncuk, being the intelligent and obedient dog that she was, did as she was told. She just wanted to make sure that her owner was okay. Inside the hospital, Cemal was treated with urgent care. He was old, and his body was starting to become worn out, and what would normally be small and insignificant issues suddenly became big, serious, even life-threatening issues. In fact, things got so serious that the staff at the hospital called Cemal's family to come and say their last goodbyes, just in case they couldn't help him pull through. Cemal's family soon arrived and visited the now unconscious man. It was strange seeing him in such a way, especially when he had been so active and on the go all of his life. They held his hand and talked to him, even though they didn't know whether Cemal could hear them or not. But eventually, after several hours, the time came for them to leave. On the way out of the door, they saw Boncuk, who was still waiting patiently for her master to come out and take her home. Cemal's family decided that they should take the poor dog home in order to feed it and let it rest. Cemal's brother made a makeshift lead and put it around Boncuk's neck, gently pulling him away and walking him the short distance to his home. Once there, he offered the dog food and water, but she seemed uninterested in anything that they had to offer. In fact, at the first available opportunity, Boncuk would break out of the house and go sprinting back to the hospital in order to sit and wait at the doors. The truth was she missed Cemal, her master, and wished she could see him again. Boncuk became part of the furniture outside of the hospital. She was a regular sight, and people coming in and out would often stroke her as she sat patiently waiting for Cemal's return. She would sit there from dawn till dusk, looking hopefully at every person that passed, hoping that it would be the face that she knew and loved. In a surprising turn of events, something unfolded that seemed beyond belief. The doors swung open, and Boncuk ecstatically bounded back and forth with joy, yapping and whining in pure happiness. Yes, Cemal had made a remarkable recovery. Slowly walking through the doors, supported by a medical professional, Cemal learned from the nurse that his loyal dog had patiently awaited his return since his admission to the hospital, refusing to abandon her spot. The unwavering dedication displayed by Boncuk left everyone astonished and deeply moved. The hospital, taken aback by the dog's remarkable loyalty, unofficially adopted her as their mascot, attracting the attention of several media outlets. Reporters approached Cemal as he bent down to shower his beloved dog with affection, capturing numerous photographs while news crews filmed the touching reunion. "I must have been greatly missed," Cemal remarked to the gathering reporters, "and I missed her just as much. I never fully realized the depth of attachment a dog could develop towards a human, but now I understand the extraordinary bond we share, which I will forever cherish until my last breath." And so, Cemal returned home with Boncuk, never straying from her side. The connection between a man and his dog is undeniably extraordinary, a unique and enduring love that transcends time. It is evident that Cemal was the center of Boncuk's universe, and in his absence, she felt utterly adrift. May you also be fortunate enough to encounter someone who loves and cherishes you in the same profound manner that Boncuk loves and cherishes her owner. And now the spotlight is on you. What are your thoughts on this profoundly touching and heartwarming tale? Have you ever come across such an unwaveringly loyal canine companion?